So Sevilla pros and cons. Now this video is going to be a little bit different than our last two pro and con videos. We knew coming into Sevilla it wasn't going to have some of those things that we really enjoy, but we've got to come to Sevilla. If you haven't seen those other two videos, check them out and you'll get a better understanding on what we're about, what we're looking for on this journey of ours.
We'll put the link down in the description.
Yeah, so check those out first. Here we go.
Pro here in Sevilla is the Triana District, and that's where we chose to stay. We always choose to stay in more of a residential area because we are in a location for a month. It kind of gives us that more authentic experience, and we definitely have found that here in the Triana District. It's not far from the main city center. It's just a
15-20 minute walk.
Yeah, but a beautiful walk. We've never disliked making that walk. So it's just on the other side of the bridge, and what Triana is known for is their
tapas bars, ceramics. Their tapas bars are world class. We've been to a couple, and they're inexpensive. It's an easy way to eat out, which
we're light
enjoy.
eaters. Yeah, and we're light eaters, so it's an easy way for us to eat out. But you get to try a lot of the different foods, and definitely more inexpensive on this side of the river as well.
Yeah.
I would say on average probably €1 per plate that you're going to pay less over here. So that's a definite bonus as well. But
this is I'd definitely stay over on this side. If I was here for 3 or 4 days. I would have to weigh that out a little bit, but if you're here for any more than a week, I'd stay on this side of the river for sure.
I would highly recommend this side for that. So Triana District, definitely visit if you're here. We showed you the main area of Triana District, and so if you come over the bridge, that's what you're going to see. And we just kind of wanted to show you that we just came just a couple blocks back into this district. It's so quiet back here. You really get the authentic experience at the little diners and cafes and everything.
There's a lot of them. You can get a $1.50 beer, a small plate of food, and it's just as inexpensive it is when you're with all the tourists. So
but a lot more
get back
enjoyable.
off the beaten path and come back in and check it out. Any major tourist city, you're gonna have to deal with a lot of tourists, right? So we're here the first week of December, and it's a Sunday, and there's a lot of people. So when you plan your trip, a lot of you are gonna have to plan it in the summertime or spring break or what have you.
Over a holiday. Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of people. So to get into any of the attractions.
Yeah, going to the Cathedral or the Alcazar or any of those.
You're gonna have to wait in line.
You're gonna have to wait in line, and you're gonna have to maybe bump elbows with people.
Getting a table for lunch or dinner. You might have to make reservations. So that is one thing that I wouldn't necessarily call it a con, because you're gonna find that everywhere.
Yeah.
But it is something you're gonna have to deal with.
Just be aware of when you're planning when you come.
Yeah.
Another thing that I would say that would probably be a little bit more on the con side is the distance to get to transportation. So if you're coming in on a flight, it's going to cost you about $25 to $30 for a taxi fare to get into town. We found the same thing taking the taxi from the bus station. It was about,
from the train station.
Or the train station,
it was about $18 for a cab. And we like to walk everywhere, and it's too far for us.
It's too far, and honestly, even though the streets are flat, there are a lot of cobblestone, which is not friendly with your roller suitcases.
No.
So that we would say was a con a little bit.
And on that, the pro side of it would be there's taxi cabs everywhere. They're easy to catch. They have Uber, so if you want to do Uber, you can do that. We had family come to town. And they Ubered from our Airbnb to the airport, and it was $30.
Yeah.
So pro and con, I guess that would be, but there are taxis everywhere.
Yeah, so transportation's available. It just is maybe not as easily to walk to or get to quickly.
It's an expense that we don't like to spend.
With that being said, day trips out of here, there's a lot of day trips to go do. With the transportation being a little bit further away, it does make it not as cost effective to go on those day trips, which is something we look for. But there are a lot of really great day trips to go on, too.
Yeah, you can hear us over the church bells, which is kind of cool. There are a lot of day trips to go on. We went to Ronda, and we stopped at a few other places along the way. Now, having family in town, we had the opportunity to have a private tour, which is available. You can just Google that, look it up. It might be the way to go to get to Ronda, because otherwise it's a 3-hour bus ride. And it's about $30 round trip.
And that's 3 hours one way.
That's one way, yeah.
So it makes for a long day.
It makes for a long day.
Yeah.
Now there are others.
There's Cordoba, Granada, and Cadiz, which is on the coast. So if you want to look to go to someplace on the coast. But we just chose to do the one on this time here.
And those three you can take a train also, which may be more pleasant than a bus.
Right.
And those are anywhere between an hour and 45 minutes.
Right.
And it's going to cost you between $30 and $40.
Yeah, they were about $40 round trip to be able to get to those locations. So just
but those are options.
Another pro for us is that there's another market here in Sevilla, and this is the Triana Market that we're in right now. It's actually Sunday, and it's also a holiday weekend, so it is closed as far as a lot of the booths for the meat and cheese and stuff like that, but the restaurants are still open. That's one of the really cool things about the market here that was different from other ones, is there's a lot of restaurants inside the market, and it's open 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So
you can get a beer.
Yeah, you can get beer or paella, whichever you choose. Yeah. So that's another huge pro here.
Carrie and I walk everywhere, so we would like for it to be as flat as possible. And Sevilla is very flat. It's easy to walk around. You gotta watch your step. There's some cobblestone, there's some uneven ground, but for the most part, it's pretty easy to get around Sevilla wherever you might be staying.
Right, and then it's also very bikeable. They have the same, you can rent bikes here. We really didn't look into that. I'm assuming it's very similar to some of the other locations in Spain that we've been at. So, but those are also all over the place to be able to have access to that. And there are the bike lanes here as well. There's definitely a lot of bike lanes, and I would say that if you were on a bike, you'd easily be able to get around the city very well as well.
Yeah, from one end to the next. They also have scooters, little electric scooters.
A lot of electric scooters.
Buzz around in too.
Yeah.
I'd be afraid I'd fall off.
Yeah.
So we don't choose to do that. But yeah, it's also an option. Very easy to get around Sevilla.
Very easy to get around.
So every major city has a shopping district, and so does Sevilla. Now, we don't do a lot of shopping, but we have found this to be a lot of fun to just walk around this whole area. We did have to buy coats.
Yes,
because it was getting chilly.
Yeah, some new shoes.
But other than that, we didn't have to do any shopping. We don't spend a lot of money on things like that, but if you do and you choose to, this is the place to come. Now, they do have a major mall, which is really nice, but the fun part is all the outside shops, and from anywhere from shoes to coats to anything you might want.
And beautiful to walk through. Yeah, candy shops.
You know? And right now it's all lit up at night, obviously, for the holidays, so it's really pretty. Yeah. So anyway, the shopping district is a big bonus for us. It's a huge pro. We just had a lot of fun just walking through chestnuts roasting on an open fire, which we'll probably get some.
We'll have to get some of those before we go.
Definitely.
Yeah. The other pro here is the language barrier, the lack of the language barrier. Spanish is obviously still heavily spoken here, but we have found that if we need to communicate with somebody, be it in the shopping district or outside of the district, we're able to do that, and it's just made it a lot more enjoyable. So if you're looking at just vacationing somewhere, not necessarily moving somewhere, because we definitely are trying to speak the language, but if you're just vacationing and that's not your language, this is a much more comfortable place to come and be able to communicate with people.
So Sevilla is a very old city, obviously, and there's a lot to see, from the cathedral to the
Alcazar.
I can never remember the names of all these places. But even other than those things that we all know about, you know, just like the shopping district I was just talking about, the buildings are all old, and the architecture and everything surrounding them. It's just a very
it's just a beautiful city to walk around. That's probably what I've been blown away by most of all, is that everywhere you walk around throughout this city, there's just really beautiful buildings to look at.
History, the waterfront, all the way uptown. You can walk 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, and it's always something new.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't quite get that in our last 2 locations, so it's been a lot of fun to be here. Well, almost a month now.
Yeah, which in itself is kind of interesting, because being here a month, there are still times that we go down streets and we're like, oh, we haven't even been here. How is that even possible?
Yeah.
So lots to see and do here. So that is definitely a bonus. Okay, so we're sitting here on the Guadalquivir River. This is, I believe that's how it's pronounced. If it's not, then correct me.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Yeah. So, but this river, the river walk along here runs, as far as we've walked, and we're walkers, so we walk quite a ways, but it's a beautiful river and a lot to see as you're walking around, and once again, really great trails to walk on and to bike on or to scooter on or whatever you want to do.
We love Sevilla. It's a bucket destination,
For sure.
in our opinion, for sure.
Yeah.
It does get a little bit crowded. If it gets too crowded at the bars and the restaurants, you can always grab yourself a beer at the grocery store and come out here and sit down.
Do what we're doing right now.
Do what we're doing right now.
Yeah. So bring your beers down here, cheaper, and beautiful sun here in December.
This is super classy. You get a couple 40s, come down here. Cheers.
Cheers.